For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. We are live this Friday night. It is January 13th. It's a Friday the 13th. Hopefully you're not superstitious, but I promise we're going to have some fun today because we are celebrating our 100th episode. 100th episode. I can't even say that correctly. And also my dog's 9th birthday. Ernie the Golden Retriever is 9 years old. And we've got a chance for you to win some prizes. We've got a bunch of stuff happening on the show. I've got a noisemaker. Where is it? Let me find that here. There's like 3 pens in front of me. Here it is. Happy birthday, and happy on 2 occasions, right? The podcast and the dog. And, you know, I've got a cocktail in front of me. I'm not quite getting lit, as Don Lemon would say, but, you know, we're having a good time here Friday night at the office. There's cake, there's dog party hats, there's just everything that you can imagine for a dog's birthday party. Tell you about all that stuff, and I've got some cheapskate tips for you if you're a pet owner, ways that you can save money owning your pet. I've got a chance for you to win some prizes by naming a pet, and I've got some fun stories about my dog. Sit back, relax, have a laugh. The Scribble starts right now.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. We are live this Friday the 13th. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. Episode 100 of our weekly podcast. Every Friday, a brand new episode uploaded on iTunes and SoundCloud and our website, thescribbleshow.com. Thanks to everybody who has subscribed and supported the show. I know there's several of you who've actually been on the show. You were tuning in before, and we've had some correspondence back and forth through email or Twitter, and boom, now you're on the show. It's pretty cool. I love that. So interactive. And, of course, we're celebrating my dog's birthday. So let's talk about my dog, okay? He's a golden retriever. I got him when he was about 3 or 4 months old. Purebred and, award-winning parents. So you always expect that your dog is just going to be very well behaved, right? He's got show parents. So he's going to be just, no. Now, I do have to admit, I'll tell you the story about how I got him. I was working at a publishing company, actually, at the time, and I had just bought my house, and I said, you know what, I always wanted a dog. We had our family dog put to sleep when I was 20. He was 18 years old. We got him when I was 2. And my mom had said, no more dogs. No more dogs. So I went out and I got rabbits, actually. And when I got my house, I knew that I wanted to have a yard and dog, at least one dog, and so that's what I did. So I was only in my house for about a month or so, and I was searching online, and I found golden retriever puppies. And I'm not one of those people who was like, oh, it's got to be a cute dog. I don't want an ugly dog. It's got to be cute. I've just always really liked golden retrievers. My uncle had, when I was growing up, he had 2. One, they both, died of age, but they just were very well behaved. They were smart. He taught them to do a whole bunch of tricks. So I just figured that they, were able to pick up on stuff like that. And so I went to go see them. There were 6 puppies, and I didn't make a decision that day. They said, a few of them are already spoken for, whatever. So as I'm talking with this couple, and they were a military couple, and I was a military I worked at the military newspaper in the city, and so we were, bonding about that. And, I looked very young anyway. I was, mid-20s, but I looked like I was probably a teenager. And so I thought, I'll just make conversation with them. We've got, we're bonding. And there were a bunch of little puppies that were coming towards me as we were talking. So I was taking time, holding each one of them and whatever. And they pointed out, even though all the dogs looked the same, the husband and wife, the couple, said, that one dog came to you 2 times, and then he fell asleep in your arms as we were talking. And the other ones kind of just, licked your face or pulled at your shirt or whatever it was. But he nuzzled up and got really cozy, really cuddly in my shirt. So they knew who he was. They remembered his name actually was Peanut at the time. And so they said, that's Peanut, but, they're kind of going quickly. So not that you need to make a decision now, but... And 2 days had gone by. I didn't follow up with them. And I was in my office, and I said, I'm going to call, I'm going to see if Peanut is still available, then it's a sign, and I'm going to go and get him. And sure enough, he was the only one. He was the runt of the litter. He was the only one left. And I thought, okay, it's fate. He's meant to be mine. So I went actually with my accountant. We went to the store. We bought a whole bunch of dogs. She's very excited. Whenever somebody has a baby, she's very big into buying presents and doing things like that. So she really hooked me up with some good dog stuff. And coincidentally, this is the funny thing. The store we got a leash, we got a bowl, we got a bunch of things. The pattern that we got actually matched the collar that they had for him as well. So all these things, I'm freaking out going, this is perfect. This is meant to be, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. So we go, we get him, she was driving, I'm holding him in the car, and he slept for most of it. And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, he started howling. And I felt like I had done the worst thing in the world, because you have to realize that he's with his 5 siblings and his mom. And I just took him away from that. So you think, okay, I'm going to be his best bud, I'm going to be all this stuff, and it's oh my god, I just ripped him away, and he's probably wondering what happened to them, where are they, what's going on? And so, I had a bit of regret and guilt for that. So, got him into the house, we got to my place, and of course he's peeing everywhere, right? They say, oh, he's trained on paper, he's good, but it's a new environment, right? So, for that first week, and then anytime when he actually, if he has an accident in the house, it's always in the exact same hallway. Always. I have 3 floors to my house. I've got a basement, a main floor, and upstairs. It's almost always in the hallway on the main floor that goes up to my bedroom is where he'll have his mess. Whether he throws up, he pees, or craps, whatever it is. It's always right there. That is his spot for some reason. And it's worse because it's right at the bottom of the stairs. So if I get up in the middle of the night and I don't turn on lights to wake myself up, you can step in it. And I have. And it's ruined my day. So... Nevertheless, there were some growing pains, just like anything, right? When you have a parent, or when you have a baby, you're new to the whole parenting thing, and so it's a little bit awkward for you. And so I just, kind of didn't make the right decisions about things. I gave him a bath every other day, and then he started to really itch his skin. Apparently I was irritating it by giving a bath all the time, so you're not supposed to do that. I was cleaning inside his ears with water. Apparently I was giving him swimmer's ear because his ears flap down, like golden retriever, and they're not drying out, so he had all these ear infections. And of course I feel like a horrible person, because here I am doing these things to my dog thinking I'm making it better. I'm doing it for his benefit, and it ended up, not working. There is a story. I called it the Mud Party. I'm going to tell you about the Mud Party coming up right after this here on the Scribble, episode 100. Thanks for tuning in.
Airfares go up and down more than planes themselves. Pricearazzi.travel has you covered when flight prices change on Expedia.com. If the prices drop, you'll be sure to know about it. There's already so much to remember when you travel, and you shouldn't have to worry about paying more than you needed to on your flights. Let Pricearazzi.travel keep an eye on that for you. Your biggest concern should be if you've packed enough money to buy all the trinkets you really don't need, or if your swimsuit shows off enough skin in all the right places, or that while you are away, the kids have enough food in the kennel and that the dogs get to school on time. Wait, flip those last 2. Simply register your email address with Pricearazzi.travel and then book your flights on Expedia.com. Your itineraries are automatically sent to Pricearazzi, and you could do your happy dance if the flight becomes cheaper in 24 hours. Better yet, you could actually end up flying for free. And who doesn't love free, right? Find out how to save on your Expedia flights at Pricearazzi.travel. Avoid bank account turbulence and sign up now at Pricearazzi.travel.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on this Scribble. You know, we are celebrating my Golden Retriever's 9th birthday today, and I've got to tell you, we've got a special website that we've set up. It's pets.jbonair.com. P-E-T-S, pets, plural. Pets.jbonair.com. You can see photo galleries of Ernie, my Golden Retriever, Basil, my other dog, and Ernie's birthday present that he got. We got a brand new bunny. I'm going to tell you about the contest for naming that bunny in just a little bit, but I teased you at the mud party, so I've got to tell you about that. I was in my home office, and I was about to tape a radio interview, and this was back when he was still very yappy and wouldn't stop. And I couldn't have him in my office because he was, still peeing and things on the floor, and just with the equipment and everything that's in the room, it's just not good to do that. And so I had him in the kitchen, and I closed the kitchen door, just kept him in there, but he knew that I was still in the house, and he could hear me or whatever. And he started to bark, and then howl, and then scratch at the door. And I thought, well, the microphone is picking this up, so I can't do that while I'm about to do a celebrity interview, right? We do tape in a studio, but oftentimes I will tape in my house if I have to on the weekend or something. So you just can't do that, right? It would be like the doorbell ringing like crazy. You're like, oh yeah, very unprofessional. So he wouldn't stop, no matter what I did, no matter what I said. So I put him in his little kennel, and I put him in the basement, and like on the other end of the house. And I thought, okay, he's all the way over there. I've got 3 closed doors between us: my office, the kitchen door, and the basement door. It's soundproof. I'm practically soundproof. Not a chance. He was still doing it. So it was raining outside. I thought, you know what? I don't want to do it, but I've got to send you outside. Got to put you outside in the rain. And of course the dog gets the last laugh, right? You know that he's going to do that. So I go about 10 minutes later, when I'm done the interview, I go outside, and he's covered in mud. And again, as a puppy parent, you're pissed. Look at my alliteration today. As a puppy parent, you're pissed. But you grab a camera to take pictures, and it's the cutest thing, and then you post them on social media. It's a P day today. And so he's covered in mud, and I just thought, oh my God, I'm mad, but it's also really cute. We've got those pictures on our website, pets.jbonair.com, or just go to the Scribble website, and we've got a link there, thescribbleshow.com. Now, one other quick story about how he gets the last laugh is, meanwhile still a puppy, I had some chicken marinating, and it was thawing actually and marinating on the counter in the kitchen, and I pushed it back right up against the wall. And I had to go into the corner store and get some dog food. So I was gone for maybe about 15 minutes or so. I was out getting a bag of dog food. I came back, and the Corningware dish that it was in and the lid were both on the ground. They're both on the floor in the kitchen. And I started freaking out because my dog just ate raw chicken. And so I call our producer, Bonnie Winters. She used to breed dogs on the farm years ago, decades ago, almost a century ago, I think it was. And there was no answer. And I text her urgently. No answer. My brother had a dog. Called my brother. No answer. Text him. No answer. Call my parents. They'll lecture me, but I'll call my parents. No answer. Call their cell phone. It's off. And so I'm freaking out. So I call the emergency animal hospital. It's evening, so it's only emergency animal hospitals that are open at that time. And I'm freaking out, and the lady says, well, you can make him throw up. You can give him, peroxide. You can just, something to make him throw up. And I said, I don't have any of that stuff. Like, my dog has minutes to live. He's about to die. He just had all this raw chicken. And so as I'm in a panic and freaking out, practically hyperventilating, she says, sweetheart, do you think they have barbecues in the wild? And I paused there for a second. A dramatic pause. And thought, you know what? You're right. I'm an idiot. And so then she's just like, if anything, he's actually going to have way more energy today. He's just going to be bouncing off. He just had all this raw meat. He's good to go. You're good. You're fine. And yeah, but as a puppy, he somehow got onto the counter. I don't know if he jumped on it or just, well, he must have now that I think about it. But it was ridiculous. So again, it's one of those things where he's always one up on me. One up on me. I hate it. Our website, pets.jbonair.com. We've got a contest. I want to tell you about that, and you can win. It's about $500 of gift cards. We've got Amazon.com, Best Buy, PetSmart, Subway. There's a bunch of gift cards we've got. And here's the way it works, is that for his birthday, and you'll see the pictures from the birthday party as well, Ernie got a little baby bunny. And the bunny needs a name. It's the brown one with the floppy ears. I'm on our website right now, right on the front page. All you have to do, pick a name and email it to us. Email it to win, W-I-N, at jbonair.com. And if we pick the name that you picked, then you win all the prize. It's that simple. There's no skill testing question. You don't have to do anything. You just pick a name. Look at the rabbit. Look at the picture. See what he looks like, right? You kind of have to get that vibe. You can't just go and name a rabbit or a pet without seeing it, right? Be like people that pick out baby names. It's like, well, you know what? Wait until you meet the kid. You might have a change of heart. So pets.jbonair.com, name the bunny, send it in to win@jbonair.com. I think it closes, when is it? The 22nd of January, 2017. Like I said, we are live on Friday the 13th. It is, I don't even know what time it is now. It's 8:16 Eastern? I don't know. Remember, I'm Don Lemoning tonight. I've got a couple cocktails in my system. So win@jbonair.com. If you decide to enter the contest, just pick a name, just email it. That's all you got to do. It's that simple to win the prizes. We'll be back right after this here on The Scribble.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Yeah, that Cheapskate book, by the way, a bestseller, and I've got some tips about how you can get through pet ownership on the cheap. Little creative things that you can do to either save money or just make it a little bit easier, because you know those expensive vet bills are going to come eventually. And I know by giving my dog all those ear infections, I know that they're very costly. So stick around, I've got those tips coming up in just a little bit. Pets.jbonair.com is where you can go to check out the contest, name the bunny, and the prizes could be yours. If you do like shopping online and you do like cute pictures of pets and dogs, you can go to shopernie.com, SHOPERNIE, shopernie.com, and see the greeting cards that my dogs are in as well, because they're just so photogenic. And this is coincidentally, somebody was on our website and emailed and said your dogs should be on greeting cards. And almost immediately I wrote back and said, they are. Here's the link. Actually, we've got ads on the website for that. So shopernie.com, you can take a look at. There's just the Halloween costumes, there's in the snow, there's just a whole bunch of fun things. Because I think the Golden Retriever is the most popular breed of dog, if I'm not mistaken, or at least it was a few years ago. And so, everybody loves Golden Retrievers, and I've got a Lab Cross as well. So my little family of pets, 2 rabbits and 2 dogs, are online for you at pets.jbonair.com. At the top of the show, I mentioned this is our 100th episode of the podcast. I want to take a moment to thank everybody who tunes in week after week. As I just said, people are emailing and following on Twitter at The Scribble Show. That's our Twitter handle. And it's great week after week to hear from you. And, we do this for you. If you want to hear from a certain celebrity, we try to get them interviewed on the show. And you can hear all of the past episodes on SoundCloud. So look up SoundCloud/The Scribble Show. And then you can also subscribe on iTunes and... and it's 30 minutes. You can, while you're working out or if you're commuting to work or something, just automatically download every week, and we love it. And also, I live tweet The Bachelor on Mondays. I know I said that before. Follow along at Jeremy D. Bradley is my Twitter handle, at Jeremy D. Bradley. Those cheapskate tips are coming up right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Cheapskate Checkpoint on the Scribble, brought to you by cheapskatebook.com. If you're a stupid spender, become a genius saver at cheapskatebook.com. Here's best-selling tight-ass Jeremy Bradley.
You freak.
As much as I love my dog, he costs me a fortune. I always say there's no cost too high that would make me consider not taking care of him anymore. While I expected it to be a commitment, like owning a car and maintaining it, I realized a dog needs its own bank account for those unexpected costs. After all, it is a member of the family. People go to pet stores, see puppies for ridiculously expensive prices, and say, I would never pay that for a dog, but people do. Taking care of it sometimes comes with the same line, I would never pay that. But as any animal lover will tell you, the hundreds of dollars of vet bills for the unexpected illnesses or checkups can be overwhelming. Sometimes just making an appointment at the vet can cost upwards of $40. Once you are there, there's the tests, exams, and medication that often follow. It is not uncommon to walk out of a vet's office with $200 spent. That's it, no more getting sick, you probably mentioned to the pooch on the way out. There are lots of people who opt to get pet insurance, but sometimes those costs don't warrant the monthly charges you incur. Last year, I created a bank account that would be solely used for the dog. I don't put too much money into it. I have a regular monthly $20 deposit that automatically transfers to the account. You could even set up one for $5 per week. Depending on your bank and bank accounts, there might not be a charge or fee for transferring from one account to another, so it's a money move you won't even notice. When it comes closer to heartworm or annual shots time, I kick it up to $30 for a few months leading up to the appointments, so I'm not left strapped for money in the dog's savings account. And you might not be rich, but think about how impressive it is to say your dog has its own bank account. Vet bills aside, there's the cost of food and toys for your pets. The belief is that expensive food is better. The bigger the brand name, the better the quality. But if you look at the nutritional information, or even just talk to the veterinarian, you'll find that a supermarket's brand might be the same and significantly cheaper. When my dog was a puppy, I was overfeeding him because he always seemed hungry and wolfed down his food very quickly. I was going through a lot of dog food. Despite going for walks every day, the vet said the dog needed to lose weight. The doctor gave me a plastic measuring cup that indicated how much a growing dog needs and how much an adult dog needs. Let me tell you, the dog's giant bags of food last much longer now. As cute as dog costumes and clothes are, they really can be an unnecessary expense. It's true that a pet's feet can freeze on cold pavement in winter, but look around the house at items you already have as an alternative. If you're going to buy dog booties, just use a couple old pairs of socks instead. Here's a better and safer idea. Run around your home and get exercise. If you don't want to be in the cold, and your pet doesn't want to be in the cold, eliminate the walk altogether. Or go for a short walk outside and come in and pick up the activity where it's warm. All these expensive treats at the store sound so appetizing for the dog, not me. When you look at the cost of what you're getting, it makes you wonder if the price is worth it. My dog practically swallows a treat since he eats it so fast. Sure, he gets excited and sits nicely when the treat cupboard opens, but there are cheaper alternatives you can give your dog. There's a debate about whether or not to give dogs scraps of food or leftovers from your meal. As long as it's not unhealthy foods for your dog, I don't see a problem. The trick is to not give them the food right off the counter or right off your plate. Telling the dog no when he is staring you down and licking his lips while you eat makes him go away and is then rewarded with the food after. Giving him the food as his saliva is dripping on my foot while he watches me eat isn't teaching him that begging is bad. I was one of those dog owners that gave treats for everything. Any sort of trick earned my dog a treat. Now the dog only gets a treat after he has breakfast and dinner and when I leave the house. To make my escape, I ask him to find his special toy that gets treats loaded into it, and it takes him a long time to get them out. He works his brain to figure out how to get to the yummy snack while I can sneak out without him knowing. Actually, he probably wants me to leave more often so he gets more treats, but at least by the time he has spent 20 minutes working with his toy to get the reward, he will be tired out and I will be long gone. Giving praise, playtime, and attention seems to be more rewarding for my dog. Sure, he loves food treats, but he enjoys quality bonding time just as much, or at least I like to think he does. If you think about how many treats you get in a package and the amount of packages you buy in a year, you can really scale back the purchases and save lots of money. As for toys, those little plastic squeakers can cost a lot. There should be a strategy to toy purchases. First, if you hate the squeaking sound, don't buy toys that make that noise. That's a given. But if a noisy toy doesn't bother you, make your own. Take an empty drink bottle or container and bat it around the floor. Remove the plastic or paper labels so they aren't eaten, and give it a few throws. Make sure you discard the toy if it gets punctured and the animal starts eating it, though. When you walk down an aisle at a pet store, it's interesting to see how many of the toys are actually regular items, rope, ball, etc., but adding a pattern or design makes them a lot more expensive. I think you can imagine what my tip is for this one. Get a regular tennis ball. Use a stick from the backyard. My dog is happy playing with anything as long as he's getting my attention. When I first got my dog, I got all the fun-filled toys and paid a fortune because, I don't know, I guess I wanted to buy his love. But after a while, he quickly grew to appreciate anything I gave him because it was coming from me. The stores sell a doggy stuffed animal for $15, but a dollar store sells the same thing for $1. Provided the dog isn't ripping it to shreds, a stuffed doll shouldn't be a major investment. My dog brings his puppy toy to bed and falls asleep with it in his mouth. When it gets gobbed up and needs to be thrown out, I go to the closet and bring out a replacement $1 toy, and he is just fine with it. I also wait until after a holiday and scoop up some plush animals for half price. After Valentine's Day and all those big bears holding giant hearts are waiting for a home, I snag them and I'm a hero when I come home because the dog has a new friend. Once he settles down, he is fast asleep holding his new his new cheap pal. I made the mistake of buying a plush pet bed for $40, and after leaving him alone with it, I came back into the room and saw the dog had ripped it apart in less than an hour. What does he have now? One of my old pillows on the floor, and he takes care of it like it's his own bed. I like to think he uses it because it has my scent, so he knows that it's me. Whatever makes me feel better, right? It is just like when I moved into my house. I went all out on spending, but after a while you figure things out and learn about how to cut corners without sacrifices. Like owning a car or being a homeowner, there are lots of costs that arise with being a parent to a pet. Plan ahead just like you would for having kids.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
As my dad would say, we are on the Twitter. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in. We are live today, this Friday the 13th, 2017. It is... what time is it? 8:27 Eastern, I think, if I'm reading this correctly. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see a damn thing. What I also love, though, is the fact that we are live and there's no taking anything back. It's a little bit different on the radio because, you can't say certain things. You can't do whatever. And there's a lot more, money behind that. We're on other people's radio stations, so there's an obligation to, keep a good, clean show. But I'm thinking, while we're on our own airwaves here on the Scribble podcast, what happens if I just stop talking for a few seconds? We don't have music on this show, right? On the other show, they can, go to a song, they can do whatever. We're out of commercials, I can see that right now. So it's just me for the next, 2.5 minutes. So I'm just going to talk very slowly and see what they do. They can't do anything. I'm just killing time. It's either that or I talk about Donald Trump and the inauguration and his golden shower scandal. I don't know, maybe you're sick of hearing about it already, but definitely, I gotta tell you, as a Canadian, and I've spent a lot of time in the United States, I do, I'm between both countries all the time, but I'm a Canadian, right? That's what makes it different. I can spend all the time in the world in the US, but I don't have American citizenship. That's not me, so... There's a bit of humor. Now, if you are American and you know any Canadians, I definitely encourage you to ask them what they think of this whole thing. Because we laugh. I mean, this is hilarious to us. Now, there is an impact. I know other fellow Canadians who go and say, you know what, this does impact us, so I'm not quite sure why you're laughing so much about it, is because it's entertaining as hell. This is quite funny. And now, I've got on my one screen here, I've got Twitter. It's scrolling all of the people that I follow. And I got to tell you, still, even the election was how many months ago? This, every second or third tweet is something about Trump. And I don't know. I don't follow politics, so for me, I don't care. But I'm just like, when do you get, people were sick of talking about Mariah Carey and the lip syncing thing on New Year's Eve, right? Like, you kind of it fades away. It's not going away anytime soon. Will you watch the inauguration? And now, if you're listening to this after the 20th, it's already happened, but I want to know if you're planning on tuning in, because there's all these people that I'm seeing are calling for a boycott. Don't watch any of the TV channels that are broadcasting the inauguration. Don't help their ratings. Send us an email, live@jbonair.com. We're out of time, but again, once more, pets.jbonair.com, pets.jbonair.com. Enter the contest, name that little bunny. The pictures are adorable. Check out my 2 dogs, my 2 rabbits. And I will talk to you same time, same place next week. Happy anniversary to us here on The Scribble for 100 episodes, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye,
Want
everybody.
more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,